Superman 2, 1980, is not just a classic superhero film filled with epic battles and unforgettable characters, it also holds tragic real-life stories of its cast that many fans may not know. Behind the dazzling lights of Hollywood, their fates took heartbreaking turns. Some lost their lives in shocking accidents at the peak of their careers, while others endured long battles with illness and turbulent personal struggles. The legacy of Superman 2 is not only one of cinematic greatness but also a poignant reminder of irreplaceable losses. Join us as we uncover the real-life tragedies that befell the stars who once brought these iconic characters to life. Christopher Reeve was born on September 25, 1952, a man who became the ultimate embodiment of heroism, both on and off the screen. His portrayal of Superman and Clark Kent in Superman 2, 1980, and the entire Superman franchise turned him into a global icon. However, behind the cape and the legendary S emblem lay a life marked by both extraordinary achievements and profound tragedy. Born in New York City to Franklin Dollier Reeve, a novelist and professor, and Barbara Pitney Lamb, a journalist, his early years were shaped by their divorce when he was just 4 years old. Despite this, Reeve excelled academically and artistically, later attending Juilliard alongside Robin Williams, with whom he formed a lifelong bond. His personal life was complex. For years, he was in a relationship with modeling executive Guy Exton, with whom he had 2 children, but their relationship ended without marriage. He later found love with singer and actress Dana Morosini, whom he married in 1992. Their love story, while strong, would be tested in unimaginable ways. In May 1995, Reeve's life took a catastrophic turn when he was thrown from a horse during an equestrian competition in Culpeper, Virginia. The fall shattered his first and second cervical vertebrae, rendering him completely paralyzed from the neck down. Initially, the despair was overwhelming. He even considered assisted suicide. However, with Dana's unwavering support, he fought back, becoming an activist for spinal cord injury research and disabilities awareness. Despite his resilience, his body remained vulnerable. In October 2004, complications from an infected pressure wound led to septic shock, which triggered a fatal cardiac arrest. He passed away at the age of 52, leaving behind an enduring legacy of courage. Tragedy did not end there. Dana was diagnosed with lung cancer and died less than 2 years later in 2006, leaving their young son, Will, orphaned. The Reeve family's story remains one of both inspiration and heartbreaking loss. Terence Stamp was born in 1938, a man of striking intensity whose performance as General Zod in Superman 2, 1980, was nothing short of iconic. His chilling command to kneel before Zod became one of the most memorable lines in superhero cinema. Having first portrayed the Kryptonian warlord in Superman, the movie, 1978, Stamp's portrayal of Zod was regal, ruthless, and unforgettable. But long before he became a household name, he was a working-class boy from London, catapulted to fame in the 1960s with roles in Billy Budd, 1962, and The Collector, 1965. Stamp's personal life was turbulent, shaped by high-profile romances and heartbreak. He was famously involved with model Jean Shrimpton, a relationship that ended in disappointment and left a lasting impact on him. His search for meaning led him to a period of self-imposed exile in India, where he embraced spirituality, distancing himself from Hollywood. Despite this retreat, his career found resurgence in the 1990s with roles in The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, 1994, and Star Wars, Episode I, The Phantom Menace, 1999. Now in his 80s, Stamp remains a fascinating figure, equal parts philosopher and film legend. While he has largely stepped away from blockbuster roles, his commanding presence endures, a reminder of an actor who once demanded the world to kneel before his brilliance. Ned Beatty, born on July 6, 1937, was the quintessential character actor, a man whose every performance felt authentic, yet whose personal life carried the weight of emotional struggles. In Superman 2, 1980, as well as Superman, the movie, 1978, he played Otis, the dim-witted but loyal henchman to Lex Luthor. Though often cast in comedic or supporting roles, his talent was undeniable, earning him an Academy Award nomination for Network, 1976, and widespread recognition for his chilling performance in Deliverance, 1972. His booming voice also made him an ideal choice for roles like the sinister Lotsohuggen bear in Toy Story 3, 2010. Despite his professional success, Beatty's personal life was turbulent. Married 4 times, he struggled with maintaining long-term relationships, each ending in divorce. His career often kept him away from his family, and though he had 8 children, the pressures of Hollywood made balancing fatherhood a challenge. As he aged, he stepped away from the industry, preferring a quieter life away from the spotlight. However, declining health caught up with him in his later years. On June 13, 2021, he passed away at the age of 83 due to natural causes. Those who knew him recalled a man of immense warmth and wit, yet one who carried the burden of personal disappointments. Beatty left behind a legacy of unforgettable performances, but his journey through life was not without its own share of sorrow and regret. Marc McClure was born in 1957, a fresh-faced actor who brought youthful enthusiasm to the role of Jimmy Olsen, the eager photographer at the Daily Planet in Superman 2, 1980. Having first played the character in Superman, the movie, 1978, he became a familiar presence in the franchise, later reprising the role in Superman 3, 1983, and Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, 1987. His boyish charm and natural likability made him the perfect embodiment of the comic book sidekick. Beyond Superman, he found success in films like Back to the Future, 1985, where he played Dave McFly, Marty's older brother. Despite his career spanning decades, McClure never quite reached leading man status, and his time in the spotlight gradually dimmed. Unlike many of his co-stars, he has avoided major personal scandals, yet his Hollywood journey has been marked by the all-too-common struggle of fading relevance. While his personal life has remained relatively private, the industry's shifting landscape has left him largely out of mainstream projects. Now in his late 60s, McClure continues to make occasional appearances at fan conventions, where his legacy as Jimmy Olsen still holds sentimental value for longtime fans. The ups and downs of a career spent in the shadow of iconic franchises may not have brought him superstardom, but they have ensured his place in cinematic history. Jackie Cooper was born in 1922, a child prodigy who grew up under the harsh glare of Hollywood spotlight. Long before he took on the role of Perry White, the no-nonsense editor-in-chief of the Daily Planet in Superman 2, 1980, and the rest of the Superman film series, Cooper was one of the youngest actors ever nominated for an Academy Award, earning the nod at just 9 years old for Skippy, 1931. But growing up in the film industry came at a cost. Raised by his single mother, who pushed him relentlessly into acting, and a stepfather he never truly bonded with, his childhood was marked by an absence of real parental warmth. His career had its ups and downs. While he successfully transitioned into television directing, personal happiness was harder to maintain. His first 2 marriages ended in divorce, leaving him emotionally scarred. Eventually, he found lasting companionship with his 3rd wife, Barbara Krause, with whom he had 4 children. However, tragedy struck when one of his sons died in 1987, an event that deeply affected him for the rest of his life. Cooper retreated from Hollywood, choosing a quiet life away from the cameras. In 2011, he passed away at the age of 88 due to natural causes, though those close to him knew he had struggled with declining health in his final years. His legacy as a child star, director, and beloved Superman character endures, but behind the success lay a life filled with silent battles and personal heartbreak. Valerie Perrine was born in 1943, a woman of undeniable beauty and charisma who brought a mix of charm and cunning to her role as Eve Teschmacher in Superman 2, 1980, reprising the role from Superman, the movie, 1978. As Lex Luthor's glamorous yet conflicted accomplice, she added a layer of intrigue to the story, proving that even villains had hearts. Her journey to stardom was unconventional. Originally a Las Vegas showgirl, she caught Hollywood's attention with her daring, uninhibited performance in Lenny, 1974, a role that earned her an Academy Award nomination. But fame came with a heavy price. Perrine's personal life was marred by troubled relationships and fleeting romances. Despite her success, she never found lasting love, often entangled with men who left more heartbreak than happiness. The pressures of Hollywood and typecasting meant that as she aged, roles became scarcer, and her once thriving career faded. In recent years, she has faced one of her greatest battles yet, Parkinson's disease. The condition has severely impacted her mobility and speech, forcing her into a difficult fight for independence. Despite her struggles, Perrine has remained resilient, with fans rallying around her in support. Now, as she reflects on a life of highs and lows, she remains a testament to perseverance, a woman who once lit up the screen and continues to inspire, even in the face of adversity. Margot Kidder was born in 1948, a woman whose life was as dramatic and unpredictable as the roles she played. As Lois Lane, the fearless and sharp-witted reporter in Superman 2, 1980, and the Superman series, she became the definitive version of the character for an entire generation. Her chemistry with Christopher Reeve was electric, but her real life was far from the romantic escapades of her on-screen counterpart. Born in Canada to a strict father and a mother who suffered from mental health issues, Kidder's childhood was turbulent, setting the stage for her own lifelong struggles with bipolar disorder. Her personal life was marked by a series of tumultuous relationships and failed marriages. Her 3 husbands included novelist Thomas McGuane, with whom she had her only daughter, Maggie. However, love always seemed to elude her, and she spent much of her life battling emotional instability and financial hardships. The 1990s were especially cruel to her. A severe manic episode in 1996 left her homeless and wandering the streets of Los Angeles, disheveled and paranoid, until she was found and taken to a psychiatric hospital. Though she made a remarkable comeback, becoming a vocal mental health advocate, her struggles never fully subsided. On May 13, 2018, she was found dead in her Montana home. Initially reported as natural causes, the truth was far more tragic. Her death was ruled a suicide by drug and alcohol overdose. The bright, fearless Lois Lane who once lit up the screen had been silently battling demons that ultimately consumed her. Kidder's life was a testament to resilience, but also a heartbreaking reminder of the fragility hidden behind Hollywood's glitz and glamour. Jack O'Halloran was born in 1943, a towering figure both in height and in reputation. In Superman 2, 1980, he played Non, the silent but deadly Kryptonian henchman of General Zod. With his menacing presence and brute strength, Non became an unforgettable antagonist despite never uttering a single word. Before stepping into the world of Hollywood, O'Halloran had made a name for himself in another brutal arena, professional boxing. A heavyweight contender in the 1960s and early 70s, he fought some of the sport's greatest names, including George Foreman and Ken Norton. But his career in the ring was marked by controversy, whispers of mob connections, and an unfulfilled dream of winning a championship. His personal life was equally complex. Born to an Irish-American father and a mother with deep secrets, O'Halloran later claimed to be the illegitimate son of infamous mobster Albert Anastasia, one of the most feared crime bosses in history. This revelation only added to the air of mystery surrounding him. Romantically, he never seemed to settle, and his relationships were often short-lived, shadowed by his imposing personality and troubled past. As the years passed, he moved away from acting, delving into writing and making shocking claims about organized crime and government conspiracies. Now in his 80s, he remains a fascinating figure, known as much for his off-screen life as for his roles in film. The years have taken their toll, but O'Halloran continues to share his larger-than-life stories, blurring the line between fact and legend. Susannah York was born in 1939, a woman of elegance and intellect whose talent graced both the stage and the silver screen. In Superman 2, 1980, she portrayed Lara, Superman's biological mother, a role she also played in Superman, the movie, 1978, and Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, 1987. Though she exuded warmth and wisdom in her performance, her personal life was often fraught with emotional turbulence. Born to a wealthy but fractured family, her parents' divorce left deep scars, shaping her lifelong struggles with love and trust. York married writer Michael Wells, and together they had 2 children, but the marriage dissolved in the mid-1970s, leaving her to navigate single motherhood while balancing her career. Despite her undeniable talent, Hollywood's rigid system often reduced her to supporting roles, even after her Oscar-nominated performance in They Shoot Horses, Don't They? 1969, this frustration led her to reject mainstream roles in favor of independent films and theater work. However, financial insecurity haunted her later years. In 2010, tragedy struck when she was diagnosed with bone marrow cancer. True to her resilient spirit, she kept the battle private, rarely speaking about her illness. On January 15, 2011, she passed away at the age of 72, leaving behind a legacy of unforgettable performances and a lingering sense of what more she could have achieved had life been kinder. Sarah Douglas was born in 1952, a striking British actress whose fierce screen presence made her the perfect choice for Ursa, the ruthless Kryptonian warrior in Superman 2, 1980. She had already played the role in Superman, the movie, 1978, but it was in the sequel that she truly shined, embodying Ursa's cold, calculating nature. Unlike her character, however, Douglas's real life was filled with emotional challenges and hardships. Raised in a strict household, she pursued acting against her parents' wishes, fighting for her place in a competitive industry. Her personal life was anything but stable. In the 1980s, she married actor Richard Leparmentier, best known for his role as Admiral Motti in Star Wars, 1977. Though their relationship seemed strong at first, the pressures of their respective careers led to distance and eventual divorce. The breakup left her emotionally shaken, and for years she struggled with personal demons, including battles with depression and the harsh realities of an industry that often discarded actresses as they aged. Despite these challenges, Douglas never fully disappeared from Hollywood. She continued acting in television and voice roles, including animated superhero series and video games, carving out a niche that allowed her to remain active in the entertainment world. Now in her 70s, she has embraced her legacy as a cult icon, appearing at conventions and engaging with fans, but the road to this point was far from smooth. While she has found stability, the echoes of past struggles remain, shaping the woman behind the villainous Ursa. Clifton James was born in 1920, a man whose rugged, southern fried persona made him a perfect fit for lawmen, whether comical or corrupt. In Superman 2, 1980, he played the small-town sheriff, a role that mirrored many of his other performances in films like Live and Let Die, 1973, and The Man with the Golden Gun, 1974, where he portrayed the bumbling but brash Sheriff J.W. Pepper. Off-screen, James was far from the loudmouthed authority figures he so often played. He was a war hero, having served with distinction in World War II, earning a Bronze Star, Silver Star, and Purple Heart. His personal life, though quieter than many of his Hollywood peers, was not without sorrow. Married to his wife, Laurie, for decades, he experienced the stability that eluded so many in the industry. However, financial struggles in his later years, coupled with declining health, took their toll. In his final days, he battled complications from diabetes, a fight that slowly drained his once formidable energy. On April 15, 2017, at the age of 96, he passed away in his Oregon home, surrounded by family. Though he lived a long life, his final years were marked by the painful reality of aging, fading health, dwindling finances, and the quiet exit of a man who once lit up the screen with his larger-than-life presence. Gene Hackman was born in 1930, a man whose presence on screen commanded both fear and admiration. In Superman 2, 1980, he reprised his role as the cunning and egotistical Lex Luthor, a character he had first brought to life in Superman, the movie, 1978. Hackman's portrayal of the brilliant yet ruthless villain set a standard for comic book antagonists, his charisma making Luthor as entertaining as he was menacing. But beyond the spotlight, Hackman's life was filled with complex relationships and personal struggles. His childhood was turbulent. His father walked out on the family when Gene was just 13, an abandonment that left deep emotional scars. Determined to escape his troubled home life, he joined the Marines at 16, lying about his age to enlist. Romantically, his life was marked by instability. He married Faye Maltese in 1956, and together they had 3 children, but the pressures of Hollywood and his relentless ambition put a strain on their marriage, leading to divorce after 30 years. A second marriage to Betsy Arakawa brought more stability, but Hackman had already built a reputation as a difficult and intensely private man. In the early 2000s, he quietly left Hollywood, retiring from acting to focus on writing novels and enjoying a reclusive life in New Mexico. While he has largely stayed out of the public eye, rumors about his declining health and struggles with old age persist. Now in his 90s, he remains one of Hollywood's greatest actors, though he has long since withdrawn from the industry that made him a legend. What do you think about the lives, careers, and deaths of the actors in Superman 2? Which one do you remember the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to stay updated with our latest videos.